lyrical, sir.
We keep having all these problems, how we gonna solve them? Every day it's the same thing. All these unsolved issues, I guess it's official. Here we go again, the same old thing. And I'm tired of arguing and lying, so goodbye.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is October the 16th, 2024, and today the topic is, let me show you. Friends, look, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears, y'all. Oh, what a morning, what a journey I have been on this morning, man. I was up ever since, what time was it? I want to say 12:31 last night, technically, y'all. And I was going back to sleep over and off since then or whatever, but I was up for a long time. And at first I was like, Lord, why am I up? And then around 12:40, I think it was, a horn started blaring in the neighborhood. And I just happened to look at the clock at the time, and it just kept going, brum, brum, brum. I was like, what? It's like, Lord, are you speaking to me through this horn? I know this stuff might sound crazy for those that maybe if you don't believe or this might be brand new to hear somebody say the God is speaking through a horn or through time and stuff like that. But these are the things that I've kind of gravitated to as I've been on this journey with the juice and doing daily studies and stuff like that. And because I would say Marcus Rogers was probably one of the first people to like help me to see this, for example, because he would say that like sometimes when he woke up at random times, he would Google it and stuff. And so I started to do that. And once I started to do that, I started to see how the verses were, really resonating with my life and whatever. So I just was like, okay. And so since then, I've really been paying attention. And then like years into it, I came across this lady. Her name is Dana Ray. She's standing right here on YouTube. And she started talking about like the Strong's Concordance and whatnot. And so I looked into that and got that app and we started to see even more revelations from like different numbers and times and stuff like that. So I'm not into like numerology or nothing. But I try to be, I just try to look and just see, right? And those are ways that it helps me to see and hear the Lord more clearly. And so I've been on a journey this morning, y'all. So good morning to those of y'all that are there and saying good morning and things of that nature. I don't know if I'm going to tell y'all all the details about like, the different stuff that was being revealed to me, because I think a lot of it was like personal for me and my family and stuff like that. But I'll just say this. So after the horn thing, right? Next thing I know, I looked into the Bible verses of both, right? And then I ended up I ended up just kind of doing some research for my my room and stuff, because I said I want to get me some new furniture and stuff like that. So I started looking up stuff like that because I just was wide awake at that point, right? And so eventually, next thing I know, it's 4:00, which is the time I usually supposed to get up. And a little bit after that, I listened to the prayer meditation. So for those of y'all that don't know, I usually listen to this app. No, I'm not an affiliate or anything like that, but I try to share it with you guys because basically they give daily prayer and meditation. Yeah, mommy's giving daily inspiration, but they give like prayer and meditation, like a guided prayer meditation. I try to use it to help me just, woosah and just, give this time to the Lord. Yes, and relax. So I listened to that, and then after that, that made me start having some questions. So it mentioned Lot's wife in it, and it just made me think about the swift judgment that God gave, because I think the prayer meditation was talking about at some point, like sharing about like how God is, patient and long suffering and all this different type of stuff. But then and then it mentioned Lot's wife or something. And I was like, now, Lord, I get how people can get maybe scared of you, right? Because at the end of the day, like there are these Bible verses that talk about like swift judgment, like Uzzah, right? Like he was trying to just help pick up the, the Ark of the Covenant as it was falling, and he got swift judgment for that. Lot's wife got swift judgment. So I'm like, I get people might be a little scared of you, but I know on one hand you want us to just, come to you and that you're long suffering and you're patient and, so I'm like, I know you that stuff too, but, Lord, so I'm seeking the Lord about that, right? Next thing I know, I'm asleep, right? And I'm having a dream. So I don't remember all the details, but the main parts I remember, basically when I woke up, well, my husband was in a dream, my son was in a dream. I might share some parts out. I feel maybe I'm supposed to I'm talking about my dream right now. And so I'm looking all that stuff up, and it is resonating. I'm like, okay, all right, you know what I'm seeing. And what I was receiving was, and I felt like it correlated with the whole horn thing. So I was like, well, Lord, you know, and I'm seeking God, like, okay, what does this have to do with the horn? But you know, and so I was basically, what I received from the dream, without going into all the details, was basically like, you know, to be mindful, to be aware. You know, there might be distractions, different things of that nature, but stay diligent, right? And I'm like, okay, Lord, well, you know, I feel like I'm in a good place. I don't think that there's no issues happening right now, you know what I mean? Like, and stuff like that. So I was going deeper about all those different thoughts. And then I ended up going back to sleep again. So then I get woken up again because my husband's getting ready to leave. And then this guy got up, right? Soon as he came in the room, he's like, Mommy, I want to tell you something. I was like, oh, he must have had a dream too, right? And he did. He had a dream as well. Do you want to tell them your dream? No, because you
Well,
are you going to tell them the dream you told me? Because when we told your papa, you switched it.
okay.
Like, so, okay, he'll tell you his dream.
My dream was that ants were popping out. And they were having a parade. And me and Papa Jr. and Cameron was there. And they had boxes.
Can I help you, baby?
And then we opened one of them that had cones in them. We didn't want to do that one. We didn't want
Okay, hold on. You switching it. Okay. So basically what he told me this morning.
A ball.
NJ, come on. No, that's not what. So this morning he tells me basically that he had a dream that he was at the church. It was him. He says he saw ants and they was having a parade and that they had a honeycomb and he ate some and it was sweet. He also mentioned that his dad was there and his two cousins was there too and they ate and whatever. And so I'm going deeper about both of them things. Like, I ain't saying I'm an interpreter or nothing like that, but I be like, when I hear symbols and stuff, I try to look that stuff up basically. And I was feeling in my spirit that it had something to do with my dream too, right? So first I looked up for him. It's talking about how ants is talking about wisdom and diligence, which I'm like, my dream's talking about diligence too. And then he said honey, which that's also talking about like God's provisions and blessings and stuff like that. And there was a point in my dream where, you know, I was very joyful or whatnot and whatnot. So all of those things, right? All of those things, I felt like they were going together. So much so where I was like, Lord, did you speak to my husband too? so he had already left, but we had called him like, did you have a dream? You know, because both our dreams, like when I put them together and I was going deeper and I was interpreting and, you know, getting interpretation and stuff like that, they were all correlated. Like Misty Roberts says, honeycomb is very prophetic, you know, the ants and all that, right? And so after all of that, like I said, this is hours of my morning, y'all, okay? So after all of this, I'm like, wow, Lord. And I was like, well, I know you got something to share with the people, you know, I'm like, and so he led me back to the verses that I first came to. So when I first woke up, like I told y'all, it was 12:31. I think, no, wait. Yeah, 12:31 when I first woke up. So I went back to those verses. And the first one stood out to me for y'all. And then I went from there, and that's where my son, do not be a distraction now. Come on. That's where the juice came from today. So y'all, we can go ahead and get into it. So the first verse that I felt led to share what was kind of the verse that led me to the conversation, or knowing that this was for y'all too, or at least some of this. It says 1 Corinthians 12:31. But covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet show I unto you the more excellent way. Now, this stood out to me after all of this. This stood out to me more than when I saw it this morning. And I would say this is a 911. So if y'all are here, because once I started writing down my notes, it was 9/11. So if y'all are here, this might be an important, you know, and you're listening, whatever the case may be, this might be a word for you. Okay. So the reason why this stood out to me more after I had went through my journey and whatnot, and then I read that verse again, is because I want to say it was last week. Last week I was getting led, or the verses or whatever I was studying back then, last week. It was like things asking me to ask for more, you know what I'm saying, more spiritual gifts. And I was like, well, Lord, I feel like I already got, the tongues and whatnot. And I can't remember if I told y'all how I came to tongues and how I got the gift. But long story short, it was one of my friends at the time, which he was somebody that I was interested in or whatever, but he was one of the guys that I thought could have been the one. But anyway, he was one of the first guys that I would have spiritual conversations with at that particular time. Yes, during the cultivation period, right? But anywho, and he just kept talking to me about, do you talking to us? Do you speaking to us? And I'm like, he just kept bothering me about it, though. I felt like every time we talked, he would talk to me about it. And I'm like, man, what? Like, I'm familiar with it. I'm not scared of it. Like, I grew up around it and stuff like that, but I never experienced at that time. And just again, in my 20s, I hadn't experienced it up to that point. And he just was so diligent about it at some point that he ended up sharing one of Keith Moore's sermons with me. It was a video, and or the website at that time. And I went there, and finally one day I was like, let me look at this video he done sent me or whatever. So I'm listening to the sermon all about the spiritual gifts and stuff like that. And then afterwards, Keith Moore is like leading a prayer for it and giving us, encouragement on how to receive X, Y, and Z. And so I'm doing all the things. And then next thing I know, words is flowing. And that's the first time I received the spiritual gifts. And it was interesting because I want to say it was Saturday night. I'm praying in spirit. And I felt led to do that. And then my husband kind of peeked his head in or whatever. And then it had came into my heart to ask him, has he received the gifts? And he said he hadn't yet. And I was like, you want that to be your birthday gift? But he was saying he felt like it was going to be too long. But so he didn't start his journey yet. But basically, what I'm saying is last week I was felt led to ask for more gifts. And I'm like, well, Lord, is that greedy? You know what I'm saying? I already got tongue. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I felt led to go ahead and go forward. So I was like, well, Lord, help me to understand, to interpret the tongues, help me to, I guess, I know I joke about prophet lying and stuff like that, but I'm like, well, Lord, and because the more I was about to seek the Lord for interpretation, the Bible, I think it was Paul talking a lot about like, well, seek the Lord for prophecy is more important type of thing. So I was like, okay, so I was like, started to pray for that too, right? And then all of a sudden this week, this verse is what I'm feeling. So what I'm saying to y'all is, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you have any of the gifts, then I guess God is saying, hey, ask for more, right? If you don't have any of the gifts, then God is saying, hey, ask me for it. Because he wants to show us things. He wants to talk to us and show us things. It seems like this is resonating with y'all this morning. So good. To God be the glory. Yeah, he wants to show us, y'all. And again, the juice is another living testimony for me, y'all. Like, the more I started to do this, the more I started to see how much God probably was trying to talk to me for years. Like, for years, he was like, it would be on my heart and mind. You need to study more. You need to pray more. And I would do what I would do, because I did a little video about this trying to explain this. But anyway, but what I would do back then, before I started doing this, what y'all see now is juice. I just would, read the Bible verse of the day on the Bible app, stuff like that, and be like, woo, got your word. You know what I'm saying? But once I started doing this and started studying and started like paying attention to the time, paying attention to, different stuff, then that's when I started to really see how much God is speaking. Like, and he's speaking. And like, I mean, now when I first created, your daily dose of inspiration, I was like, Lord, you really gonna have me talking every day? But he had me talking every day about something different. And even if I come on here and share the same verses, sometimes it'd be a completely different word. So what I'm saying is, y'all, I'm not the only one he want to talk to at the end of the day. And anybody else that you watching online and the pastor and everything like that, he wants to talk to all of us, right? And I believe he has, things he wants to reveal. So again, if you hear, look, this is for you in Jesus' name. That's what I believe. But anyway, let me give you guys these verses that were standing out to me, y'all. Jeremiah 33:3. It says, call to me and I will answer you, and I will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. Listen, y'all, look, getting that revelation through my dream and my son's dream this morning was a beautiful experience, man. And it is still going because like right after me and my son was having our conversation, I happened to check my email, and a guest that I had previously, her episode ain't even came out yet, I don't think, but she just reached out and was like, hey, I was thinking about you and your son and homeschool, how's all that going? And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You got something to say to me. Like, you got a word, you got some extra pieces of the puzzle, and so it's interesting to go on this journey and to do this. I know it sounds crazy. Again, to those that it sounds crazy to, I'm sorry that you ain't getting the revelations. I hope that God can remove the scales and stuff from your ears and eyes so you can receive gifts too, okay? Because God is speaking out here and he wants to talk to us, and you just got to be open, right? Open to receiving the gifts and asking for more. Either way, I don't know where you are spiritually, whoever you are listening to the sound of my voice, but if you don't have any gifts, ask for the gifts. If you have some already, I'm getting there. God wants us to ask for more gifts. So y'all take it or leave it, but I hope you receive it. I ain't trying to drop bars out here, but okay. Let me give you guys another verse. John 15:15. It says, no longer, wait. Amos, right? Okay. So Amos 3:7, it says, for the Lord God does nothing without revealing his secret to his servants, the prophets. But here, the John 15:15, I think it goes deeper about what I just said. It says, no longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends, for all that I have heard from my Father I have made known to you. So friends, I mean, yeah, we know that first verse is talking about that, okay, God is not going to do anything without revealing it to his servants, right? But then in that second verse there, it's telling us that, he don't even look at us as servants no more, really. He's looking at us as friends and letting us know, letting us in on the plan and things like that. And so that's why even with everything that's going on, right? I know we, a lot is being revealed. We frustrated. We want justice for Allie, all these different type of things, right? But those of us that are like truly walking with God, we can still be at peace even in the midst of the turmoil and the different things going on, because we know that either God's like, revealing stuff to us, or, just knowing that God is there and in control. And so again, all these things, I hope that it encourages you and inspires you, y'all. Because yeah, look, in my Jesus voice, he's saying, let me show you. Okay, are you receiving it, y'all? Come on, let me show you. He want to show you some stuff, y'all, and it's a beautiful thing to like just be open to it and see what he got to say. Like I said, the revelations I receiving about me and my family seems like it is a lot of hope, you know what I mean? Joy, peace, love, provisions for us, different things of that nature, as long as we stay diligent, right? As long as I stay diligent with the spiritual, go for me and our son, things of that nature, praying for my husband and whatnot as he leads and guides, and that he grows spiritually and whatnot as well. And God is doing the work, y'all. And so, and again, I'm just saying, he ain't no respect the person. What he's doing for me, he can do for you. And I guess that's the juice, y'all. That's the juice this morning. The Bible verse of today is Philippians 4:9. It says, those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and is seen in me, do, and the God of peace shall be with you. Look, if that ain't confirmation, I don't know what is. But yes, y'all, that's the juice this morning. Yeah, y'all have a fabulous Wednesday, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. And there you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, hope that you guys are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Thank you to those of y'all that stuck it out with me this morning. And I hope that you guys, are encouraged and inspired by this juice. I saw y'all, it seemed like it was like amens and yes and stuff like that. So I'm glad that, this is resonating. I think I only saw maybe like a couple of you guys. Hey, let's go. There's only one that had like one sentence. She says, I feel the same. I have my mama's Bible and he has all kinds of notes and verses. Or she has all kinds of notes and verses highlighted. Yeah. So, I mean, these things, God can use whatever he wants to speak, you know what I'm saying? And so it's up to us to listen and to hear, what he's saying and do, again, after I received everything I received this morning, I was like, okay, seems like I need to be praying for my husband. I need to pray for our family, stuff like that. Son, go on. See, that's why you're supposed to be sitting at the table anyway. Uh-huh. Now, Papa gonna see you eating. Yeah. But anyway, so but yeah, so beautiful experience this morning. Like I said, it was hours, and like when I first woke up to that first dream, like my dream, at first I'm like, what does all this mean? You know, I want to see that. I tell you, y'all want to know my dream?
Yes.
Okay. Golly, son, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people.
Actually, let me tell her dream since she doesn't know how.
I know how to tell my own dream, because you don't know
I
how to tell my dream. Okay.
So
I'll wait a couple more minutes to see.
So her dream.
NJ, hush. They say yes, please. Oh.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay,
yes,
so I'll tell it. I'm gonna tell it without
please.
saying some names, because some of the names was in the dream, and maybe without certain detail. NJ, get out so I can tell the people the dream. You being a distraction, okay? All right. So here was my dream. Basically, so we was at some house. It wasn't our house that we live in. We was somewhere, and I think I ended the main thing, or the first thing I remember, was being outside on a porch or something like that, and it was like an old friend of mine, somebody who I guess no longer wants to be my friend these days. Anywho, that just happened this year. But anywho, she was talking, and it was like she was across the street, and she was talking, and I was hearing her kind of complain about her current situation, and which is interesting because it was a situation I was trying to help her with before she decided not to be my friend anymore. But anyway, so she was talking about that and kind of complaining about whatever her current situation is, and it seemed like I was getting text messages from her, even though she seemed like she was across the street, but it seemed like I was getting text messages from her. So I was trying to look at the text messages without like accidentally calling her or whatever, because I was like, at this point, I'm just trying to like find peace with people, as people as God is removing people from my life or whatever case may be. I'm just trying to be at peace with that and let that be, you know what I'm saying? And so, I guess I was doing that in the dream as well. So anyway, so I'm scrolling and I was trying to get down to the messages that she was sending. But, at some point I noticed that, the list that I was in, you know how you scrolling on a messenger list or whatever, the list was, I was in like my ex-boyfriend's list or something. So so that was weird, because again, all of this stuff, again, both of these individuals are not in my life anymore, but whatever. So anyway, so then next thing I know, I'm hearing music, and it was like I was hearing this instruments, like a band playing, and then I'm hearing and it was kind of like a download of it, because sometimes I write songs. If y'all didn't know, that song in the beginning is me. So I write songs. So but I hadn't been writing in a while, because I have this worship album that I hadn't got out my head yet, and I just feel like, man, until I get that out, not that I don't want no more songs, but I just haven't been writing. But anyway, so I was receiving that this is a song from heaven. So I'm like, oh, I need to go write this down. So I'm singing and I'm dancing, and X, Y, Z. Now it's like I was going back in the house, and then it seemed like it was my childhood home, but it was different. Stuff was different, so it wasn't necessarily my childhood home. But anyway, so and then I was like, I'm singing, I'm dancing, and getting ready to try to write down the song. And then I it's like I heard a smell burning or something, and I was like, what's that? And I thought I was the only one up or whatever. And so it seemed like the stove was on or whatever. And so I go to the stove and I saw a yellow light, and I was like, oh, one of the eyes are on or whatever. So I tried to go turn it off, but when I turned it off to the off thing, it sparked. And I was like, oh, and then they say, I know I'm seeing smoke in different places. And so then I go and try to get my husband or whatever, and I'm pulling on the door. It seemed like where he was at, and probably where the stove was at, it seemed like there was, smoking whatever. Well, I could have left out that part, but y'all probably heard my son. So it seemed, so he was on the commode. But anyway, so I'm trying to tell him, I'm trying to tell my husband about, what's going on. I'm like, oh, the stove just sparked when I tried to turn it off and stuff like that. And it seemed like he wasn't as concerned about it. It seemed like he knew about it already or something. And I'm like, okay, but I was concerned because as I was talking to him, it seemed like our son was headed towards the kitchen and possibly towards the stove. But that's when I woke up. Okay. So then I'm, like I said, I was looking up all those different things, and it seemed like, the sparks and all the different stuff that was standing out to me was seeming to be like warnings of some sort, or just reminders of being diligent and stuff like that. And then, like I said, a few hours later, when I woke up the next time, NJ came in and was telling me about his dream. And like soon as he started telling me about answer stuff, I was like, hold on, wait. I feel like this might have something to do with what I was dreaming. And so I typed it up what he was saying. And then when I looked up both of those things and stuff like that together, it was speaking to both what it seemed like it came together and whatnot. And I told y'all what his stuff, ants was representing wisdom, diligence, the honeycombs representing God's provision and blessings and stuff like that. And yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's any other interpreters on the line, but yeah, that was the dream. So without details about people's names and stuff like that, because I was looking that stuff up too. Look, I try to pay attention to all this stuff. Like, what is these people's name? Like, why did God give me these particular people in the dream? Stuff like that. Their names represent stuff and everything. So just saying, y'all, look, go deeper, man. Ask God for the gifts. He would give it to you. He would speak to you. And he'll let you in on the secrets, man. And yeah, that's the juice, y'all. That's the juice this morning. I hope you're encouraged and inspired. But all right. Well, thank y'all for
my daily dose of inspiration and juice. Hope you have a wonderful day. And bye.
Well, I guess look, NJ wrapped it up on y'all. I think somebody else should say. Okay, so she says absolutely. Okay. Well, y'all can let me know what y'all think of the dream, or comments or whatever the case may be. If we're gone by the time y'all see this, whatever, then just comment below and I'll see it later or whatever. But as for us today, so my day wasn't I didn't tell y'all about my day on the juice. I usually do that. Yesterday wasn't so bad.
What does it say? I don't know what it says.
Sound it out, baby.
B T.
That ain't no T.
I B L E.
What's that?
IBL.
No. Bye.
The cross.
Bible, baby. That says Holy Bible. NJ done brought his Bible in for y'all. Yep, Holy Bible.
Changed into colors.
Just
kidding.
What I was saying. Oh yeah, so yesterday wasn't as strenuous as I thought it was going to be. The two episodes that I was supposed to record on other people's platforms got canceled.
Like a real Bible.
It is a real Bible.
Smells like a real one.
Okay. So those got canceled, and so I only had the episode of the GSL Talk Show that I missed on Monday. I recorded that. The gentleman was nice that I talked to. He actually got some good stuff for Americans to know, but y'all are probably gonna see his episode, so maybe like next year, so we'll see. But anyway, and then I went to therapy yesterday, which was interesting. I just kind of was answering her questions. Like usually I'm bombarding her with like updates about my life, but this time I just was like listening and answering her questions. And I know at some point she was like, what other ways do I feel like I need help or whatever? And not to be like I've arrived and I don't need help or something, but I just found it interesting. It was kind of an interesting therapy session yesterday. But so Miss Misty says, I actually just learned how to hop on here live this morning. Well, good. I'm glad you caught me live and everything like that. Like I said, I used to go live every day, Monday through Saturday, and give the juice like how I did today. I've been kind of flexible with that lately, but I guess maybe God's bringing me back, because I came yesterday and I came today, so we're gonna see. Said thanks for sharing this morning. You're welcome, man. Like I said, I hope you guys are encouraged and inspired. You guys can go deeper. So usually in the show notes or the captions or whatever, I'll put the verses that I found, and then I put a couple of verses that you guys or whatever that God leads me to put in the section where I call it the go deeper section. I don't know if y'all want to get my journal or whatever, but it is available on Amazon. Y'all can start y'all 30-day challenge. You know what I'm saying? Challenge yourself to do what I'm doing 30 days, which is pretty much taking time every day to study and see what God reveals to you, y'all. Look, I've been doing this ever since April 1st, 2020, and it's been life-changing. You know what I'm saying? Dragonfly 17 says, I shared my story in one of Allie's channels about my niece being taken away from her mother and been put into foster care in Tennessee, and her foster mom hurt her.
I'm not gonna be reading this
hospital
Bible
didn't report it.
I know how to read.
I'm sorry to hear that, Dragonfly. I think I might have seen your comments and on some of the videos and stuff. And like I said, man, there's unfortunately there's a lot of y'all that are commenting these type of stories and sharing that you guys have been through
really
similar.
Read this Bible because I can't read.
Well, you will one day, son. You will read it one day. Just don't mess it up, okay? But what I'm saying is there's a lot of people that are going through similar situations. So, we're definitely sorry to hear that. We're praying for you all and praying that your niece and all of you guys, can be healed from these things. As well as, continue to fight the good fight for the other people, man, and the other children and stuff like that. So I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, y'all, I mean okay. Miss Misty saying that she's sorry as well, Miss Dragonfly. So yeah, we care, man. And that's the thing. I think that's the beautiful thing about people being able to connect and stuff to understand that there are good people that care out here. And because again, when you watch mainstream media, you make it really seems like we're all divided and it's us versus them and all this type of stuff, and they're pushing that narrative where people feel like nobody cares about me or whatever. And so again, I think that's the beautiful thing. That's why it's important for us to continue to fellowship and and things of that nature, so we can be together on stuff like this. So, but all right, y'all. Well, for all hearts and minds and clear, it seems like Miss Misty is agreeing with me this morning. But yeah, if all hearts and minds are clear, I guess I'll let y'all go because I guess technically NJ's fall break is over, so we have some schoolwork to do. He only has like 3 of his 4 or 5 classes that he has. He only has like 3 of the classes to do today. So, but we still got stuff to do later on because your girl has a childcare shift at the church tonight because they do small groups and stuff like that at the church on Wednesday evening. So that's what your girl's plan overall is going to be or is. And so, yep, we're going to see what the Lord do. But yeah,
Highlights.
Miss Missy says, have a beautiful and blessed day, everybody. And yes, I hope you guys have one as well.
Highlights.
And yeah, I guess, we'll see y'all tomorrow if the Lord's will.
Highlights.
All right. Well, bye.
Bye. You did it with inspiration, not juice.